Namaste and welcome back to my channel. Back if you've been here before, but in case you just stumbled upon my channel and you're looking at me for the first time, then welcome. Please subscribe to my channel. Please tap on the bell icon so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Today's video, based on your request, is probably a video that I have researched the most about. Today's video is about sunscreens. Well, if you haven't been living under a rock and are remotely interested in skincare, I'm pretty sure you must have come across this debate between physical and chemical sunscreens. So I am going to address that debate and much more. I am going to divide this huge topic of sunscreen into two parts. The first video, part 1, will contain what is a sunscreen, what is SPF, what is a physical sunscreen or a chemical sunscreen, which is better. And the second part will contain how to use a sunscreen and product recommendations. But before I start talking about sunscreens, a sincere request. If you already have a sunscreen that suits you and you're very happy with it and you think you don't want to know the theoretical aspects of a sunscreen, I just request you to skip to the part where I talk about how to apply a sunscreen correctly, because most of the people using a sunscreen use it wrong. So please watch that particular section, if not the entire video. And now let's understand sunscreens and begin our quest for our perfect sunscreen. First thing, what is a sunscreen? Any agent that protects us from the harmful rays of the sun, specifically the UV rays, is a sunscreen. There is a difference between the terms sunscreen and sunblock, but most of the times these words are used interchangeably. Next thing to know, what can UV rays do that we need protection from? UV rays are of three types: UVA, UVB and UVC. Luckily, UVC never reaches the surface of the earth thanks to the ozone layer, and so we don't really need to worry about it. But theoretically, if UVC rays were to touch our skin, then they could cause severe burns and even eye injuries. UVA rays can penetrate to the deeper layers of the skin and is the cause for those pesky fine lines and wrinkles. UVB rays, on the other hand, are restricted to the superficial layers of the skin and are responsible for sun tanning and sunburns. But both UVA and UVB rays have the capacity to cause skin cancers of different types. Next thing we need to know about a sunscreen is what is SPF, and is a higher SPF better? SPF, as you must have noticed written on all sunscreens, refers to sun protecting factor. Apart from reading a lot of research articles for this video, I watched a lot of YouTube videos as well. And I noticed a lot of people mentioning that an SPF of 15 protects you from the sun for 150 minutes and SPF of 30 protects you for 300 minutes. SPF is supposed to help you understand how well your skin is protected from the sun and not how long it is protected from the sun. Also, an SPF value only refers to protection afforded against UVB rays. It does not indicate any protection against UVA rays. So, research shows that an SPF of 15 blocks 93% of UVB rays, which means that 93 out of 100 rays reaching our skin will not be able to damage it. But that also means that 7 out of those 100 UVB rays can still damage your skin. Similarly, an SPF of 30 blocks 97% of UVB rays, which means that only 3 out of 100 UVB rays reach our skin. An SPF of 50 will allow 2 out of 100 rays to reach your skin, which is why most of the dermatologists agree that an SPF of 30 is good enough for regular use. Next question, so what about protection from UVA rays? If you look at your sunscreen, there's a high chance that apart from SPF, there is another term written there, PA+, PA++, and so on. PA refers to protection grade of UVA and ranges from PA+ to PA++++. But unlike the SPF system, PA system is not very scientifically reliable. And also, the PA system does not indicate an exact percentage of protection being afforded by the sunscreen. A broad spectrum sunscreen is a sunscreen that gives protection from both UVA rays and UVB rays. As a norm, any sunscreen labeled as a broad spectrum sunscreen must have an SPF value of at least 15, and it must also have a UVA protection that must be at least 1/3 of the UVB protection, which means that the most basic broad spectrum sunscreen at its minimum efficacy will block 93% of UVB rays and 31% of UVA rays. Next question, what about sweat-proof and water-resistant sunscreens? Are they more effective? In one word, no. All sunscreens, no matter how high in their SPF value, must be reapplied every 2 hours, and sooner if they have been exposed to excessive sweating or water. Next question, and the question that made me do all the research for this video, what is a physical sunscreen and what is a chemical sunscreen? Based on the ingredient that is providing UV protection, all sunscreens can be divided into physical sunscreens or chemical sunscreens. Physical sunscreening agents, also known as inorganic sunscreening agents, form a physical barrier between the sun rays and your skin, and so protect the skin. For example, zinc oxide and titanium dioxide are the two most commonly used physical sunscreening agents you will find in sunscreens. Physical sunscreening agents by nature are broad spectrum sunscreening agents. Chemical sunscreening agents or organic sunscreening agents, on the other hand, absorb the UV rays, convert them into heat, and then dissipate this heat from the body. Chemical sunscreening agents can be classified in a number of ways, such as agents that are primarily a UVA filter, agents that are primarily a UVB filter, or agents that provide protection against both UVA and UVB. Also, some agents are not very stable by themselves or are not very effective by themselves, and so are frequently used in conjunction with other agents. The next question that everybody wanted me to answer is, what is this entire conversation about physical and chemical sunscreens? So studies have found that there are certain chemical sunscreening agents that can get absorbed through the skin into our body and have damaging effects. Most notably, the most commonly used benzophenone in sunscreens, that is oxybenzone, can get absorbed into our body and is known to be an endocrine disruptor, which in simple terms means it can mess with your body's hormones. It is also important to know that if and when this particular ingredient reaches our water bodies, it is known to be toxic to the aquatic environment. Studies are going on to assess the toxic effects of other chemical sunscreening agents on human life and aquatic life. But these tests that are being conducted in vitro, which means in labs outside the human body, by creating an environment that closely resembles our human body. And frequently these tests use a higher concentration of agents that is actually way higher than the concentration they are found in sunscreens, which is why no absolute conclusion has been reached regarding the safety of the other chemical sunscreening agents so far. So does that mean that chemical sunscreening agents are bad and I should just opt for a physical sunscreening agent? No, that's not true at all. Definitely, physical sunscreens which commonly use zinc oxide or titanium dioxide are considered safer. But safe does not mean cosmetically pleasing. Zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, although do not get absorbed into our body or cause any harm, are known to be very large molecules and leave behind a white cast on the skin. This can make your skin look ashy or ghostly and doesn't sit very well on the skin, especially under makeup. Also, since these are large molecules, they have the propensity to clog pores as well. So to make zinc oxide and titanium dioxide more appealing, accepting, cosmetically pleasing, it is attempted to micronize them. That is, it is attempted to reduce their size. As these particles become smaller, the problem of clogging pores and leaving behind a white cast reduces significantly, but at the cost of reducing its effectiveness against sun rays. Also, with the smaller size, these particles can now get absorbed into the skin and into our bloodstream. Even though there's no proof so far that if these micronized particles are absorbed into the bloodstream, they can cause any damaging effects, but that kind of beats the entire concept of a physical sunscreen. Now the question that you guys must be thinking, it's all a little confusing. So should you use a physical sunscreen or a chemical sunscreen? Well, that is a tricky question to answer. For sunscreening properties, a physical sunscreen is definitely better than a chemical sunscreen. But for cosmetic purposes, a chemical sunscreen is better. Which sunscreen you should be wearing actually depends on your skin type, where you are located, whether you are wearing makeup or not, and these are just a few of the things that you need to consider. But if I had to just summarize, for oily skin, a chemical sunscreening agent is better. For acne prone skin, a chemical sunscreening agent is better. Under makeup, a chemical sunscreening agent is better. For sensitive skin, a physical sunscreening agent must be used. Out on the beach or under the direct exposure of sun rays, a physical sunscreening agent is a must. That being said, notice that I have been using the term sunscreening agent and not a sunscreen. That is because a sunscreen will contain not just a sunscreening agent but many more ingredients. And it is important to look at the effect of these other ingredients on your skin as well. It also has to be stressed that finding the right sunscreen is as subjective as your skin. What suits you might not suit somebody else. So that was everything about the theoretical aspects of a sunscreen. I will see you in the second part of this video where I tell you how to apply a sunscreen, the best way to avoid damage from sun rays, and obviously the product recommendations. Please like this video, share it with others, and stay happy, stay healthy.